Welcome to the Fantasy NASCAR podcast. I am Race for the Prize. Let's look at COTA Truck Series salary review. Where's the value at the bottom? Where's the value at the top? We'll start Spencer Boyd at the bottom. No longer with Young Motorsports. You know I love Young Motorsports at the road courses. Boyd's a no. Lawless Allen might surprise you, but he is a yes. Sure, Lawless Allen has set a lot of lineups on fire. He's burned you before, but he does have 17th place finishes in both races last season. And before joining the Truck Series, he did have experience in Trans Am racing. So one of the things that we're going to do on this podcast is check some of these cross references out. I'll put them on the screen to help you out. One thing I do want to warn is just because you did a little bit of extra research on a driver, don't fall in love with that driver. That's worth repeating because I know you do it. I do it. Just because you did a little extra research on that driver, that's not your driver. Don't fall in love with that driver because you know some cute fact about them. Like Lawless Allen, for example, before joining the Truck Series, was the Rookie of the Year and earned the 5th most overall points in the 2019 Trans Am Series. Rewind the clock to 2020. You were here, I was here. We were playing Truck Series road courses, Daytona, you name it. And Lawless Allen burst onto the scene. You Googled his name. You found out in 2020 that in 2019, the Pirelli Trans Am Series, he was the Rookie of the Year, 5th overall. So you played him, and he finished 36th. The best he did was 23rd at COTA in 2021, 33rd in 2021. Now, he has improved with more time. What about these Rayum trucks? Well, actually, the Rayum trucks have performed halfway decent at the road courses over the last couple seasons. And I will continue to argue that this might be the best Rayum truck that has ever been fielded. At 5,100, a kid with plenty of Truck Series road course experience, and some before that, I like it. Thad Moffitt, not a lot of experience, obviously, at the road courses. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper. Normally, I wouldn't want to do it. Thad Moffitt is completely a write-off, but you never know at 5,200. And so I did a little bit of research. Again, I did research and I found a little bit of information. And the one thing that I can pull if I did want to make a solid argument. Now, why would I try to make an argument for Thad Moffitt? Why am I trying to talk myself into Thad Moffitt? The only reason that I would consider some of these drivers is if we get them starting dead last at their price. And through attrition and the things that unfold at a road course, I could possibly play them. And I want to know that, hey, could they at the very least survive to the end? Does this driver have enough talent, enough of a truck to stay on the lead lap? He does race every week, so you're a little bit more favorable of his equipment. What has he ever done at a road course? So we can pull up Mid-Ohio in 2021, and Thad Moffitt did what? He finished 3rd at Mid-Ohio, behind Ty Gibbs and Austin Hill, ahead of Brandon Jones, ahead of Nick Sanchez, Corey Heim, Chris Wright, Kyle Sieg, the legend Drew Dollar. So not bad for a little ARCA Mid-Ohio race. Definitely not something like where you need to play him, but not a complete nobody. I rarely talk much about Thad Moffitt, so that's where I will stop. I would much rather play Lawless Allen. Brett Holmes, we have not seen much from him at the road courses, but this is the year where the truck is allied with Spire. He does have Mike Shiplett. He is only 5,300. Let's see where he starts. I'm not super excited. Not much of a road course background, but I don't think it will ever be good for us to completely ignore Brett Holmes at this price. Mason Massey, despite a lot of work in the Xfinity series, never raced a road course. He is in a young truck, so I can't write him off. Not that this is a mystical power or there's a magic potion that is sprinkled on the Young Motorsports trucks, but they do rise to the top of the back pack. Remember, there is the top tier, your top 20 cars, and then there is, in the truck series, the back pack. There's no mid pack, there's a back pack. And cars 20 through 36 are battling for 20th position. And so far this season, Young has been strong at battling for that 20th position, and sometimes squeaking forward. Sometimes Nice can squeak forward and get beyond the 20th position. It's been a while since Young's been doing this, but Young consistently does this in the road courses. Dale Quarterly really worries me. Yes, it is a young truck, but the stats aren't there. Who is this Dale Quarterly guy? Anytime you pull up a picture of an old dude, you're like, I don't think we're doing here. I don't think this is going to be for me. And you could look at what he has done over the years, and it is not very impressive. The stats are not very good. I don't know. You'd probably have to really deeply Google him to find out what the story is with Dale Quarterly. But you can see maybe some decent results here, but they were 20 years ago. I'm not going to pretend to be a Dale Quarterly expert and to know everything that he has done. But I can tell you from recent history, he hasn't really done much. And his stints in racing have been pretty weak. So Quarterly announced that he would attempt to make his Truck Series debut in the race COTA for his own team after buying the old KBM Motorsports, which switched from Chevrolet in 2023. That was last season. Yeah. You can look at Quarterly on your own. I'm not going to go there. Daniel Dye at 5,600 in a big old McAnally truck is way underpriced. McAnally is a top tier team, folks. 5,600. Daniel Dye has been good this year, folks. You can look at Las Vegas, probably should have top 10. Then you look good at Bristol. This guy's good. Or better than advertised. He's not bad. Is he elite? Is he the best driver on even his own team? No and no. Is he belong in the top 20? Yes. At 5,600. Yes. Did he get top 20s in his 2 road courses? Yes. If the Wallace Allen play spooks you, the Daniel Dye is there to make your life better. The only issue is you're more likely going to have more place differential and opportunity with Wallace Allen than you are with Daniel Dye. If we click on Dye, let's see what it pulls up. I know he has ARCA experience at the road courses. We might as well bring those up and look at him. We know that his Truck Series races were pretty good. So let's go ahead and see what he did at ARCA, see if he's got any wins at road courses or top 5s. I believe he's got a second place finish at Watkins Glen. Easiest way for using this is just look at laps, because your road courses are going to have fewer laps than the other races, so it'll sort them out pretty quickly. So 4th place at Watkins Glen, 8th place at Mid-Ohio. So he's got 2 here. We'll quickly look at this field. He's running for GMS. Who did he finish behind? Brandon Jones, Nick Sanchez, Jesse Love. Ahead of Sam Smith, Park Chase. Taylor Gray, pretty good road course driver. Ahead of him, Connor Jones. Interesting to see Jones at least has a little bit of experience at the road courses ahead of Rajah Caruth. So not a bad day. Has a little bit of experience. I thought he had a little bit more. Let's pull that back up for Daniel Dye, since we are here and we like digging in, trying to give you the in-depth knowledge to help you make better picks. Maybe we want to look at ARCA West. Maybe he's out there in Tool racing. Did he do that one? He didn't, but yeah, he did Portland. So he finished 4th at Portland. We'll look specifically at how did he do 2022, who did he finish behind? Jake Drew, Connor Mozak, Todd Souza, then Dye. And doesn't look like a very strong field that year. Either way, seems to kind of know what he's doing. So hoping to see a little bit more experience. Woods is going to jump in for Bill McAnally. So Zane Smith's out this week, and in the part-time ride, it's going to be Jack Wood. Jack Wood never did well with pretty good equipment at road courses before. Maybe he has a road course experience. I highlighted him for some reason. I don't recall going through his data and seeing that he did anything specific, but let's check. I don't think he does, but it's here. Quickly flip down, click on laps, and see if he has some road course. Mid-Ohio at 25th. Watkins Glen 14-10. Mid-Area 2023. So last season he does have a third place finish at Mid-Ohio, running for Max Siegel, which is Rev Racing, Nick Sanchez, you know the crew. So Wood finished ahead of Love. There's Quarterly, halfway decent race, finishing fourth. Who knows? Maybe you don't rule him out. But then again, there's Frankie Muniz. So maybe you do rule him out. Souza, Connor Jones, not really putting together very good results in a very strong Venturi ride. And not a very strong field behind that. Ankrum, your winner. Really good road course racer. It was Sawowicz with a second place finish for Joe Gibbs. And then we got Wood running for Hour. Not enough to convince me there. But it is a Bill McAnally truck. I would much rather go with Daniel Dye, who's running with the same guys every single team, more established with the team, and has produced better results. Carter Fartich, I guess I'm saying that right. Fartuch. He'll be running with Sawinski / Tim Self / AM Racing. And he is a driving instructor at the Skip Barber School. Where we heard this before? Remember, Michael McDowell was a go-kart driving instructor. And so we can pull up his driver database. And it's just been so mixed results, running, various, probably Grand Am, IMSA races. 17 entered. Who knows if these websites gotta want to pull up for me or not. Advertisements. Come on, driver database. Well, if it doesn't pull up, it doesn't pull up. You just have to take my word for it that his stats weren't that great. I'll try again. I'll try one more time for you. Pull it up. Otherwise, you're going to have to pull it up on your own. There it is. Get that out of my face. Get that out of my face. 11% podium rank. So we can see 11th, 10th. Let's see. 13 races in 2023. Pirellis, GT4s, 13th position, 23rd position in points. Not bad, but that's 2011. You gotta go way back, and that's a Northeast region senior, kind of obscure. The Florida Winter Tour. This doesn't really scream, wow, look out for this guy. So, not really on Carter. The truck is okay, but I have no idea why he has 6,100 and Lawless Allen's 51. So, yeah, good luck with that. Matt Mills, not really. So I went through, looked at his Xfinity Series road course racing. Not very good. It is a niche truck, and he provides those trucks that can get from the backpack and sneak in. But at 6,200, there are better plays. Mills will become a play if he's starting in the dead back. But I like Stephen Parsons a lot more. I like Stephen Parsons' truck. Kligerman was a top 10 guy in this truck. The Henderson trucks are good. And if you look specifically at Parsons, when he wasn't suffering mechanical failures in the Xfinity Series, he was producing some pretty solid results. So Tommy Joe Martin in 2022, 12th. The Roval, 25th, which is acceptable in an Xfinity Series race. He actually started 13th in that. Issue at Portland, issue at Watkins Glen in 2023, then an 18th last season at the Roval for Bobby Dotter. Clearly, he knows his way around road courses. Now, I'm not saying he's a road course expert, but he's better than Matt Mills, and he's comparable at least to every driver that we just named. And his equipment is arguably better. Now, maybe the McAnally trucks are probably better, but Parsons is definitely going to be on the board. Bailey Curry has never really produced much at the road courses. I'm not really excited to go there. He's a talented driver, but road course wise, we haven't seen much from him. I don't really need to play him, I won't completely eliminate him. Dean Thompson, despite having really good equipment and always having at least average equipment, is not a driver that I like to play. He does not get it done. And you can see simply here, there's nothing really to talk about. 33rd, 35th last season. Not wanting to play Dean. Not really on Bailey. But I will go to Stephen Parsons. Chase Purdy, no experience at road courses coming up, just an oval kid, has run surprisingly well at road courses. A really good season in 2022, obviously in good equipment, and a pretty good season last year at 6,700, running for Spire. I can absolutely get there. Not a road course kid, but since coming up has made the best of the opportunities. And, not just having good equipment, being around good mentors, being on teams with drivers that know what they're doing, that absolutely helps. It's probably helped his progress. Is he capable of a 15th in a Spire truck? Yes, he is. At 6,700, absolutely. 10th place might be pushing it, but at 6,700, and if we can get the place differential baked in, then 15th will be fine for me. Jake Garcia, last year with McAnally, now with Thor, 6,800, too cheap. Very similar to the Purdy play, top 20s last year. You've got a Thor truck. It defaults to the top 20. You probably could run around the 15th mark. Now, if you can run around 15th, and then you bake in attrition, you bake in road course madness, it is not hard to see him going to 10th. Same thing with Purdy. These cars can be within striking distance if they can keep their nose clean. We want a little more than a top 10 out of the top tier, but most of the top tier are about $3,000 more expensive. So we need more finishing position points for those plays to be efficient. Because these drivers seem to be egregiously priced and in my book are way too low, I don't necessarily need them to get into the top 10 or deeper into the top 10. So far, there has been a lot of value on this board. I like Garcia and Purdy a lot. I'm warm on Parsons, but if he qualifies further to the back, I'm going to get real hot there. I like Daniel Dye. I know it sometimes seems like I'm a bit of a fanboy because he has received so much hate. But again, in this game of leverage, one of the tricks is finding where people aren't doing their homework or research and where people are spreading misinformation. And that is clouding the judgment of many, many players. And many, many players don't actually know who's good. So then you take that player and you run with it. And Daniel Dye right now fits that mold. I don't know how much longer we're going to get some run out of this, but you're getting run, you're getting play of people believing that Daniel Dye is not good. And soon they're going to investigate Daniel Dye. Soon they're going to watch more of my videos. Soon they're going to know that Daniel Dye is pretty, at least average, right? All you got to do is look, Bill McAnally. Okay, my research is done. But some people are incapable of doing that. Some people don't have the spreadsheet. You can have the spreadsheet. If you go to racefortheprize.com, $10 this weekend. It's just $10. Or you can prorate for the month. Or maybe I'll see you in April. Send me an email, DM me, we'll figure it out. Just get you on the sheet. That way you can know, like, oh yeah, this is Bill McAnally. And be reminded, oh yeah, this is Bill McAnally. You're not just looking at some random website someone throws on the screen and they can easily just, this guy's not good. And then also, I like Lost Allen a lot. Sorry, not sorry. I don't want to apologize for that. Marco Andretti, Roper. If you watch my previous Optimals video, we have seen Roper put together some decent races at the road courses. Roper's probably not going to compete at intermediate tracks and short tracks every single week, but can they occasionally pour the resources into one-offs like a premier road course event and hang on to the lead lap and avoid the carnage they can? And I imagine they have funded a good amount of resources into this opportunity for Marco Andretti. Think what you want about him in his days with SRX. I'm not really going to pull any of that in here. Either way, he should have a truck that can battle to be at the top of the backpack. But at $7,000, you got, Parsons can battle to be beyond the backpack. These guys are going beyond the backpack. So you're overpaying. And normally you'd say, okay, well, this could, because of the value, be a place where I can get a little bit of ownership and it's a sneaky play. Well, the brand name's going to toast you on that. Yeah, if this was a random driver at 7,000 in a Roper truck, but it's not. So I don't know how much mileage you're going to get in terms of sneakiness with an Andretti. Rajah Caruth, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of experience, but that's only until he has experience. He's got 1 year under his belt. A lot of these young kids do a lot of e-racing and practice road courses a ton. And so their learning curve is a lot more faster. And a lot of the road course driving is not butt driving. You know, running an oval is running with your butt and feeling the car. And you don't always get that in the simulator or e-racing. But road course racing, it's a lot more eyes, it's a lot more visuals and cues and markers. And that is something that Caruth, being an e-racer, could practice. We can see that with the younger generation of drivers in the Cup Series and in the Xfinity Series, how they have all improved dramatically and rapidly. And that's often because of simulation. William Byron, although he wasn't necessarily getting the results, was a very good road course racer very early on, and he was one of the first big iRacing kids. Caruth could be another one of those guys. We know this is a great truck. We know this is a good crew chief. And 7,200 for a race winner this season, way too low. Ty Dillon, Rackley, can't get on it. No for me. Tanner Gray, decent. You know where he usually is, top 15. And that's where his road courses have been. You look at the lower series, never really did much at the road courses, mainly just an oval kid. Not really what place I need to go at 7,500. The $7,000 range seems to be almost no man's land because we do have so much value at the bottom. But Caruth definitely is someone we can target. Lane Riggs, although I am bullish on Lane Riggs this season, I think he's very talented. He's an oval kid, running late models mainly, no road course experience. This will easily be, and I know we like Front Row Motorsports and Bob Jenkins, but and $7,700 is not a bad price for that truck, but he just does not have any experience. He could be good, but so can the people that are also in the field. Taylor Gray, solid results in the truck series, running for David Gillen and Tricon, and also some solid road course results in the ARCA series, unlike his brother. He's got ARCA East, he's got ARCA West, and so I'll pull that up for you and show you what he's done. He's an impressive driver. He's kind of been inching his way forward. He's clearly surpassed Tanner in terms of talent and results. You know, we have seen younger brothers like Kyle Busch do this before, and that's what we are seeing. But we want to see him do a little bit better. So we look at Watkins Glen, a 7th and 8th, a win at Mid-Ohio in 2022. Let's look at that road course ARCA win and see how many laps he led and who he possibly defeated. Finished ahead of Parker Chase in a Venturi ride, Sammy Smith, John Hunter Nemechek, Jesse Love, Chris Wright, Daniel Dye, Rajah Caruth, Dale Quarterly, Nick Sanchez, Greg Van Alst. Very solid day. Winner for Tricon. Didn't lead the most laps, but he did win the race. And he may have an ARCA West win as well at Tool or a second place finish out there in Utah. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. I could be a Tool, but for saying it wrong. But I at least want to pull it up. ARCA West, 4th place at Tool in 2020 and 11th at Tool. Portland, he's got to win. There's one. And anything else? I'm not seeing anything else in terms of road course, but there it is. Got that W on another road course. Like I mentioned, Taylor Gray, pretty good road course driver. 7,800. Might be pushing it a little bit with price, but not really. Great crew chief, good team. an improvement in crew chief too as well. So I think these numbers could clearly improve this season. And can he top 10? Yes. Can he push further in the top 10? I think so. Top 5 might be asking a lot. But with this value down here, I don't think it's going to be that hard to get to Taylor Gray. Jack Hawksworth, jumping in a pretty solid ride. Last time we saw Jack Hawksworth was at Mid-Ohio running for JGR, and we had high hopes, and he had a ho-hum day. Hawksworth, once upon a time, way back, running in IndyCar. Not really that impressive, but I believe of recent, his success has been in the IMSA series. And you can see, if I know it's small on the screen, but he won at Sebring last week. His 3-team car, or his 3-driver team, won the 12 Hours of Sebring in their class. Finished second last year. They won the championship last year. So it's not like, oh, this guy's lost it. No, he's still full-time racing in IMSA in his class, and they are solid. They're the defending champions, and they won at Sebring last week. So as far as talent and being in the zone, Hawksworth is definitely there. I had trouble seeing if he has actually had any COTA experience. I couldn't really find any, but I think he'll be fine. I don't know if you'll need to go to this spot, but it's definitely something interesting to look at. Again, here's a reminder. Just because you're doing research and you know these neat facts about a driver, don't fall in love with that driver. Don't feel like you've got to play him because, oh, I know that Jack Hawksworth finished one at Sebring and no one else knows that. And so I'm smarter and I'm going to play him and that gives me an edge. Don't do that. It's going to cross your mind. You're going to fall in love with one of these randos. Oh, well, Marco Andretti won an SRX race at so-and-so, and I know that he does this, and don't do that. You don't need to be that cute. I'm going over it so you don't have to go over it. I'm going through these guys and explaining some of the background so that you don't have to click around, and maybe it'll prevent a couple of you from doing that extra research that then has you end up falling in love with some random guy. You play them, and then they don't do anything because they only run one race per season, and their equipment's not that great. Hawksworth equipment should be pretty good. Andretti's Roper should be fine, but there's no guarantee. All right, moving up to Friesen again. It's worth reminding that I was wrong on Friesen. I did not think he was running very well this year, and I was wrong. Now, at Las Vegas, he didn't really impress me. And I thought, not going to play him. He's not a good play. And then he had another bad race at Bristol. But he didn't really have a bad race. He got into a wreck at the end. If he doesn't get into that wreck at the end, he has a good result. And then I look like an idiot. Where it stands, I can do a pretend victory lap and just, nope, he didn't get the good finish. But I'm not going to do that. Full transparency, always here. Stuart Friesen had a good race. I did not predict that. I missed it. Go back to the drawing board, do my research. No fake touting here. No fake victory laps here. Stuart Friesen ran really well at Mid-Ohio last season. Didn't get the win, but I believe he was the hog. No, he wasn't the hog, but he drove all the way through the field. Scored the most fantasy points. Started dead last. Average running position inside the top 10. Ends up finishing 4th. So a pretty strong race. Now, I don't want to just boost him because he had one good race, but he does have some quality finishes. 8,400. I also, though, don't want to start recommending Stuart Friesen because I'm just trying to own some past mistake either. I don't want to be too forgiving and flattering of Stuart Friesen just to show my own transparency. So I've got to make sure that I watch that as well. But he is in play and on the board at 8,400. I'd much rather go to Tyler Ankrum, to be honest, at 8,600. You're not spending that much more. You're getting a better truck and arguably a better road course driver. Really solid results for Tyler Ankrum. He absolutely knows what he's doing at the road courses. Is he ready to win? I don't know if he's ever going to get that opportunity. But this may be his best chance to secure a win at a road course. I don't think we're going to Mid-Ohio this year. So he won't face a watered down field. And for all intents and purposes, COTA is not really a star-studded field this season. Typically, we get a little bit stronger of a showing of guys dropping down into the Truck Series at COTA. Not really the case this year. So if there was a time for Ankrum to combine good truck, talent, experience to get the win at a road course, it definitely would be this year. Nick Sanchez fine last year. I don't know if I need to go here. Top tens, still a young driver. Much rather go with much more experienced Tyler Ankrum at a cheaper price. And I believe in this truck a little bit better than this one. Zilich getting his debut. So we know the Spire truck checks out. We know Zilich checks out. Great Mazda MX-5 Cup. You know, if you follow me on Twitter at Race for the Prize, I'm constantly tweeting about the Mazda MX-5 Cup. I love the series. Such a unique discipline. And he runs in other road course racing events as well. Very talented. But this will be his debut. And he is also running an ARCA race in Pensacola at the same time. I don't know how he is getting all these races in this weekend and how he's going to do it. I would feel a lot more comfortable if he was just only running at COTA. But to be running COTA, new discipline, then an ARCA race at Pensacola on the flat track, new discipline, that's a lot to digest. That's a lot to take in. That worries me at 9,200. I'm not sure that I can go there. We shall see. You know, Brian Patty did set up a pretty good truck for Kyle Busch last week. This truck is looking pretty. I know that in practice it wasn't quite there. They got that thing rolling pretty fast, though. So I'm not really worried about the truck. Maybe I'm making too much out of running all these races. But man, that seems like a heavy load for a debut. We'll see how practice goes. But in the end, you're only going to get a couple laps of practice. You're going to have to juggle this one. Do I think in that 9,200 I need a top five? Whew, tall order for first ever race. Maybe even some laps led. Yeah, I probably can't get to Connor Zilich. Ben Rhodes, can I get a top five? Yes. So that's about all I will say about Ben Rhodes. He's going to be in play because he can get you a top five, and he can help you fill out maybe the fourth guy into your roster. Not super excited about it, but the experience is there. He's not my favorite. I don't really want to spend a bunch of money on Ben Rhodes, but what could end up being appealing to Ben Rhodes is can he get a top five and 7 place differential points? He might be a more likely candidate for that. Whereas a guy like Eckes, who, yeah, we can lock Eckes into the top five, but the locking him into a significant amount of point or place differential, probably not the case. But although I can put him more in the category of getting some laps led. Infinger, not very appealing to me. Just barely a top 10 truck in better equipment. Eckes, yeah. Knocking on the door of being a really good road course racer, getting a win. The field is not that strong. He could be a lap leader. He's a contender for the win. Majeski is close as well. Just talented everywhere. E-racer. We'll see what he can do. I mean, any of these guys at the top can win races on any given weekend. That's not the most amazing analysis. We do know that Corey Heim did win at Mid-Ohio last season. 6th Dakota. Good Tricon truck. Like I said, this is not a strong field in terms of road ringers. So the best trucks, which we have seen this year, which have been Heim and Majeski and Eckes, are definitely going to battle for the win, unless, of course, Ross Chastain has anything to say about it. And Ross Chastain finished 5th at COTA last year, but his results were much better, being that he led a significant amount of laps, ran a significant amount of fast laps, and so he may be the favorite this weekend because we don't have Busch. Zane Smith's truck's still here, but Zane Smith is no longer here. So we have lost those guys. And so you go to the race where that changes. You take Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain out last year, and it became a Corey Heim show. And even a Ben Rhodes situation. And Eckes wasn't too far back. Eckes actually had a better average running position than Ben Rhodes did. That's what we're looking at. And so if I was really just trying to fill out and just trying to, instead of like, oh, who's going to lead those laps? Well, why don't I just try to pick top fives? And I can take Heim, and I can take Eckes, and I can take Chastain. And then I've got plenty of value down here to get 2 punts in, and then maybe squeeze a top 10 out of Taylor Gray. That seems like a pretty solid way to do it. If I'm trying to get 4 top 10s, it's a value. Taylor Gray is probably going to work into those lineups. Maybe even Ankrum is going to work into some of those lineups. if I just go down to Lawless Allen. Allen's going to unlock pretty much everybody. You play Allen and Die, and everybody's unlocked. That'll do it. Hopefully this review helps you build better lineups. RaceForThePrize.com. Blessed to have you guys around. Love you guys. Trip to Life's fantastic.